2, 1. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
It's cool to see you again.
Dude, thank you. It's been, since September?
Yeah.
August, something like that?
August or September. Yeah, you came on for the first time in the PVC pipe studio. That's what I'm calling it now.
Dude.
Because I was just getting held up by PVC pipes and curtains, so it's a lot calmer in here.
It worked, brother. It worked. Hell yeah.
So what happened today at Walgreens? They told you to go fuck yourself.
Dude, no. So let's back up. So I went to this Walgreens recently, and I was ordering a print for a friend of mine, and it's actually for the concert on Friday. I was hanging it up somewhere else, and went to order the print, pay for it, and I watched this dude like run out with a bottle, and I was telling the security like, dude, I think that guy just ran out, and he was like, all right, dude. And I went out, and I was following because I was walking out, and he was like, dude, which way did you go? And I was like,
it's like, you told me, Perry Mason.
And I was like, because the car like parked on the side, like super, super discreet, and like pulled out and like didn't have a license plate.
Nice.
The whole spiel. But so today I went back and I was like, yo, buddy, can I use the restroom? And he was like, and I was like, don't remember me. All right, cool. Well, I guess I'll do something else. Cool.
No, it's funny. Before we get into a conversation, so this is going to come out on Friday morning.
Nice.
So you guys have a show tonight.
Yeah, we do.
And
love that. Yes.
So
yes.
what's the time and place for the show?
So it's going to be at Wren's Den. Okay. It's in the downtown area, right next to Secret Gallery, right off 4th Street.
Nice.
But it's going to be, I think the first band goes on at, let's just safely say 7.
7? Okay,
yeah, for sure.
Because this is also the lead singer of Centennial, by the way, people.
Yeah, buddy.
And the new EP is fucking dope.
Yeah.
I want to wrap up this stupid story about Walgreens, because I hate the Walgreens here with a passion. But the new EP is dope.
Dude, thank you,
Played that
man.
like twice today in the gym, and I was like,
yes. It's gymming, right?
Yeah.
It's super
angry.
Someone the other day watched this band play live, and we've kind of always like looked up to this band, and they were like, this is to all my cavemen out there. And I was like, yes, dude. And we've always kind of called it caveman music, but I feel like that's a great way to just describe like the style and the kind of like feel that you get. And it's super gym, like caveman shit.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
this
awesome.
is a great fucking EP.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, so it's funny because I work for a security company, and dude, security officers, like, they're literally just picket signs with the uniform. Like, they can't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think they're actually told by certain clients, like I know Walgreens will do it, CVS will do it, where like they just, if someone's stealing something, let them do it.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, they're like, you can like confront them as far as like seeing if like, hey, give it back. But like, as far as like actually doing anything about it.
Hey, give it back.
Yeah.
No. But, okay.
I had a roommate who worked security at Cottonwood.
Yeah.
And he had stories all the time. But it was kind of like the similar situation of like, couldn't really do much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, then on the other hand too, it's like, especially with everything that was going on when like COVID first happened, all the riots started happening, and then you see all these laws getting made about how like, oh, you know, I think it's like in some counties of California, you can steal up to like $600 worth of stuff, and they're not gonna. It was like, okay, so why are we doing this? A, and then B. My first thought is, okay, it's almost like the big corporations want another tax break.
Dude, yeah.
Claim it as a loss, insurance covers it. Yeah, fucking, it's absolutely ridiculous, man. Or even like, Albuquerque's not getting any better. Like, you saw that, you saw that video from this past weekend, right? That's going around of those kids shooting at each other.
Yeah, dude.
Or no, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It was the one friend like pulls out his gun and he looks like he accidentally shot.
Yeah.
And because even the guy he shot at, I was like, oh fuck,
dude,
like, what the shit?
So nuts.
And then as they're running away, his buddy pulls out and starts firing like that.
And loosely, like, firing, too.
Some dude that was, because he was in the comment section on one of those pages, some dude that was smoking on the balcony, I think of 401 or some shit.
Sure.
Caught one of the rounds in the leg. Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, caught a round in the leg, and then it wasn't, like, life-threatening or anything. Like, he went to the hospital, and they patched him up and shit. I was just sitting there and just...
Dude.
Yeah. I'm proud to announce that the podcast is now officially sponsored by the fine people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, this is some of the best chili you can get here in the state of New Mexico, and they are online as well as in stores. They can be found at Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts,
John Brooks, and Lowe's Corner Market. They have 3 amazing flavors that you see here, and they also have frozen green chili that you can get online. Go on over to the website, chopchilico.com, and get yourself some amazing chili today. Podcast is now officially sponsored by the amazing people over at High Desert Relief, a premier herbal destination right here in the state of New Mexico. They have extremely well-trained and knowledgeable staff that are more than happy to help you find what you're looking for or try something that you maybe have never thought of. They have 2 locations here in Albuquerque, 1 in Santa Fe. All 3 will be listed right here and in the description of this episode. All 3 offering legendary products at absolutely legendary prices, including this awesome merch that they were so kind enough to gift me here. All of this can be found at all 3 of their locations. Again, big thank you to the guys over at HDR for supporting. Now back to the episode.
It's so wild. And like, I saw that just by chance because a buddy, one of my, on Easter, I was hanging out with my family and they were like, dude, there's this like video going around. They're like, have you seen it? This is like, and he showed me because he was like, there's this guy who films all these crazy videos of like stuff going on in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. Like, let's check out the Instagram. And like, he showed it to me.
Was it Hotspot or was it Split Your Wig?
I don't remember, man. Honestly, I just looked and I was like, what's this first video? And I was like, oh my God, there's so much shooting right there. And he was like, what? He was like, I haven't even seen this yet. And I was like, yo, what is this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, nuts, man.
No, it's fucking stupid.
ABQ, man. It'd be crazy.
Because you've been here, how long have you been in Albuquerque?
Born and raised,
Yeah,
baby.
born and raised here,
Yeah.
right? Do you ever think it's going to get better?
Dude.
Like...
I by all means, I really hope it does, and I hope that there is some sort of solution. But you know, doing the Uber thing and like driving around all day talking to passengers, like it's like, well, what I don't really know what the answer is. Like we all kind of just come to that general like,
yeah. See, I agree, but then I also look at stuff like I look at San Francisco, where I'm sure you heard about this, where a few months ago, Xi Jinping came to town for that whole summit they did, and just all the homeless people magically disappeared for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they didn't kill them.
Yeah.
Because they were all back when everybody left back to their respective countries.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, how much money did that cost? Okay, great. Whatever that money is, right?
Right.
I'm sure, because they didn't clean up all of San Francisco.
Dude.
It was just the, like, surround. Now, granted, they had to move, like, hundreds of people.
Sure.
Right? So, okay. What if, and nothing happens all at once, right? It's like it's like trying to eat a steak. You take it out in chunks.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would imagine it's like, okay, what if we just took like the Wells Park area?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's just take that for example. Or even like if they're really concerned about small business and having there not be deterrence, take all like the bar district of Central and get like the 70 to 100-ish homeless people that normally wander around. Do whatever for them that they did out in San Francisco.
Absolutely.
How much does that cost?
Yeah.
Well, and because we can do it.
Yep. We do it for, I'm pretty sure we do it during Balloon Fiesta. Like, I'm pretty sure. Like, I definitely have seen it where I'm like, there's definitely usually much more of a presence during this week.
Yeah. Much more of a presence.
Yeah. And, you know, you drive around, and with me, especially doing, like, driving them to and from, you know, sometimes they're like, "Guys got a homeless population, like, problem over here?" And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, like every other city. I'm like, for sure. But I'm like, this in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is usually much worse, like for sure. But they put them somewhere, so there's a way to do something about it.
Balloon Fiesta has got to be like the biggest New Mexico catfish for people that come to see the city. Like, oh, it's not too bad here.
Yeah.
It's not violent.
Yeah.
There's no homeless. And then he's end up moving here, and then like outside of the Balloon Fiesta time, like, oh no, this is what I signed up for. Mm-hmm. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, but the new EP that came out.
Yeah. Yes.
Dude.
Heavy.
Like, you guys are good, right? I once I found your stuff and I was like, oh, these guys are actually really good. Holy shit! But this is like a different.
Yeah.
Like, how long has this been in the making?
So shoot, right after the first one in 2021 is when we released it. But more like specifically like the actual, I think me and my guitarist, we kind of planned it all out at the end of 2022. We like tracked it, like because he writes the guitar player writes all the guitar parts, and we programmed drums at the time. Just like, here's the general backbone structure of it. We did all 6 songs. We're like, cool, this is it. He was like, I have some stuff, and I sat with him, and we kind of just like messed it or put it together, and then we sat on it all of 23, like kind of like, because he was getting married in 23, and so he was.
Well, congratulations to him,
dude. Shouts for sure. So that was late 23 when he was getting married. So he had and he's also in other projects and stuff too. But he was like, we're going to try and get to it at some point throughout the year. And he was like, just the wedding. And we were like, you take your time, got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And so once he got freed up with time, as soon as I think like a month after his wedding, we were like,
once that pesky marriage business quieted down, we keep back to the real, the real parts of life.
The real party, dude. Yeah, the real marriage. Yeah. And then we just tracked it slowly but surely. We lost like the drummer at the time. My brother ended up quitting, so we were searching throughout most of 23 as well. But we found someone, and he was like, "Yo, y'all need a drummer? I know your stuff already." And we were like, dude, I think we were just talking about needing a drummer, and he was like, me and Joe were both like, dude, this is like perfect. And we are like, let's message him and see what's up. And he showed up one day and was like, knew it all.
How long ago was this?
In the midst of 23.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Early 23, yeah. It was cool, man. It worked out perfect. Jesse shouts, he learned it, and we were like, all right, well, we already have a new EP like ready to go. So here it is, like, listen to it, we'll practice, learn it kind of here and there. And he was like, just give me a couple months and I'll nail it. And we were like, oh, all right, cool. And he crushed it. And then we waited for...
Did he add to any, like, the writing you guys have already done, like, whether it's lyrically or it's just like, hey, like, obviously you had to add and elevate a lot to the drum tracks you guys already had. You've been working, I'd imagine you elevated that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like, did he add anything to the overall creative process, or were you guys already so deep into it that you're like, okay, this is what we've got right now?
Yeah, so we actually had another drummer lined up from out of town that was ready to like crush it. So we were already like,
I'm gonna check the cameras.
Yeah. So we had already hit up this guy who was ready to basically do it. He had some stuff happen with his family, and so he was not able to do it at the time. And in the midst of it, Jesse kind of just came in and crushed it like accordingly, man. He what was it too? He was like, when you like I said, we had the whole backbone kind of structured out, and then during the actual recording process, you as a drummer, you're gonna still do it your own style. And we kind of were like, you're free to do like any of the odds and ends on your own, like however you see fit and whatever's comfortable to you. We just had a loose structure of like, on this part you're gonna do these kinds of things, but he was like, we were like, still, here's the creative freedom to do you, brother. Like, and so he ended up adding some good spice to it, but as generally speaking, like the structure backbone was still the same kind of thing intact.
And being already a fan of your music, I'd imagine he slipped right into it. It was like, oh yeah, this is dope.
Yeah, we were like, okay, you played all the parts, great.
Where do you guys record? Because I was telling this to Alex from Inhuman Hands.
Oh yeah.
I was telling him it's the same thing, like, because both of you guys, like, you're obviously local bands, but you don't, like, if I was to show somebody that's like, hey, I'm not great at subgenres, but like there's a deathcore band I really like called Centennial. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh damn, are these guys like, where are they touring at?
Yeah.
Because you guys are both at like this professional level. It's very rare for local bands anywhere, right? Not just Albuquerque, but just anywhere, like, because they just don't have like the access to that kind of stuff. So where do you guys record?
Dude, with Joe, our guitar player, he just, in his house, he created a studio in his garage.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
I think you brought that up last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's nuts, right? Dude, it's literally we recorded the first one in 2021, and it was literally like, just like, all right, cool. I know you're good at recording. Like, let's do it and we'll release it. And then people were like, other local bands were like, dude, what? When I told them like, oh yeah, homie just recorded on his own, they were like, sign us up, sign us up, sign us up, sign us up. And he was busy the last like 2. He still is busy, like all kinds of bands, dude.
Good for him.
Yeah, dude.
That's what's up.
He's a wizard, dude.
Because
really
is the
is.
garage like all like soundproofed out
Soundproofed,
and
yeah.
completely just professional? Like,
Yeah.
no shit. Good for him.
Because there's there's studios out there, or I should just say people recording, and the thing that they struggle with is like they don't produce the live drums, like they'll just program it, or they'll replace all of it with digital sounds. And because like the drums are like the heart of it all, so you got to have the good loud sounding drums,
Especially with that style of music.
Yeah, dude. And you don't want it to sound like a demo. You don't want it to sound like
Lacking.
in a garage. You know what I mean?
Lacking.
Yeah. And he just has it down, and he records live drums and crushes it, dude.
That's fucking sick. I did have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the fucking album itself because you had some features on there.
Yeah.
Where is it? Okay.
The homies, dude.
Cruel Act.
Yes, sir.
What the fuck? That song Spellbound is so good.
Dude, it's crazy you say that because so like
It's so good.
that's like one of our faster, like heavier stuff. And like when we wrote it, we were literally like, we were just kind of just hanging out. We were writing it, and it's absurd. It's like heavier and it's faster than the other stuff. And we were like, it kind of doesn't fit, but let's just do it. And like whoever our drummer is at the time, he'll figure it out. And we were like, it's kind of fucked up. There's some kind of hard parts in this. And we were like, that's his problem, dude. We'll figure it out. And sure enough, yeah, Dusty rose to the occasion and just was like, and when we've been practicing lately, he's like, whew. And even all 4 of us are like, okay, whew, this is going to be give me a second before we start this kind of thing. It's a breather, and it's only 2 minutes. I think it's like a little bit longer than 2 minutes, but yeah, it's a crazy faster song. But we decided to take a chance and make it a little bit faster.
What made you want to go a little heavier and a little quicker with your guys' stuff?
I think the same with any artistic like endeavor. You just want to try little things here and there, see how it goes, see how it's received, and I don't know, man. We playing the same style and the same songs. After a while, you're like, let's just see how we can do with it. Right. And honestly, it has some of my favorite like vocal parts. It's just a little bit different. It's a different speed, and so it's just.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Try and do so. Okay, because I was gonna say if you enjoyed it, do more of it.
Oh yeah,
because it's good.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because some bands have and I applaud them for doing it. Where they'll take a couple of chances on some of their songs, see if that new style or this new flavor, right, if it suits them or not. Like one that comes to mind that just didn't work. I like the song, but it wouldn't have worked out. Back in the 90s on one of their albums, Green Day did like a speed punk. Yeah. Like, and there are some screams on there too.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right. Yeah. That was cool, but like it's a one-off. Yeah. Go back to what you're good at.
Yeah, for sure.
But then there's other moments where it's like that. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's really fucking good. So is Cruel Act, are they a local?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are like a brother band for sure. My bassist, David, is the drummer of Cruel Act. So nice. He was like their vocalist. He's always been a super nice dude, and I was like, brother band. I was like, let's get him on the track, kind of thing. And because I want people too that are going to be for sure friends of mine, but like mainly like people that are around, kind of thing. Like it's tougher when you get like guest spots that are people that are not even from here. It's cool because like it's like homies helping homies exposure kind of thing. Like, but it's a little bit easier on our end when it's someone that's like in the know to know, kind of thing.
Not only that, but I would imagine if you're doing it with somebody out of state, because they're sending you the file in, and you're having to work remote, mixing whoever's doing the mixing and the mastering, you're doing it remotely. Maybe you get a response back in 5 seconds, you get it back in 5 hours, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Which I mean, that's nobody's fault. That's just a matter of it being. But if somebody's in town, it's like, hey man, we're gonna work on this for the next 3 hours. Can you come down?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you could do that, and I just think there's something better about doing. Like, there's a reason why I stopped doing. That's the reason why I stopped doing Zoom podcasts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because like I was doing them for a while because there were some friends I had out of town, or like I interviewed the lady. Did you ever watch the 4-Hour Justice League? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
So remember the scene where Cyborg is like getting shown all of his powers?
I think so.
Yeah. He goes and he gives that lady who's like works at a diner, can't pay. He gives her like $100,000 like digitally. Yeah. So I interviewed her, the actress.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but she lives in fucking England.
Oh, of course.
So it's like, all right, that's a necessity right there.
Yeah, for sure.
But only with rare occasions like that will I ever do it, because it's just like there's a barrier there.
Of course.
Or it's just not like that.
It's not this.
It's a fun conversation, but
Yeah.
it's more like interview style. And then you have to like wait on a delay, because that'll happen sometimes, and the internet fucks up. And then sometimes Zoom does this awesome thing where it goes, oh, your hour's up. Restart the whole application. It's like, bitch.
Lovely.
What the fuck? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine it's just better to have that collaborative process happen in person.
Of course, because like when in my case, I'll send with him, I sent him the song and I was like, yo, I want you on this part from this second to this second. I want you to say these words, and he's like, okay, cool. Like, but if he was to like do that and be like, I'll record it and I'll send it to you guys, like, I would want to still be there as much as humanly possible. And it's just easier to have the same sort of recording setup. Because like sometimes there's been time where people like will send stuff and it's like, oh, that sounds different than you, like way different. Like that's like louder, or like that's like a different setting. Like I don't know what's going on. It doesn't really mesh and like blend when they're mixing and stuff like that. So it's just better in house always, dude.
And is it that song that has the recording in the beginning of it? Like the voiceover?
Oh, Return to Sender.
Return to Sender, that one.
Yeah.
What's the...
Dude.
I couldn't catch it.
No?
No.
Dude, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounded so familiar. I was like, what the
Gandalf,
fuck
dude.
is that? It's Gandalf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were, I literally was like, so we're all huge on Lord of the Rings for sure. And we were like sitting there and I was listening to it. I was like, this song needs like a sound clip, or we need one sound clip throughout. I've always loved sound clips since day one stuff. And I was like, we should do something that we all like, because you can pick something of one off. It's just kind of like, oh, well, like you kind of like that, but like something general consensus all four of us were like enjoy. And I was like on YouTube one night and I was like, best Lord of the Ring quotes. Like, and I ripped to YouTube and I was like, all right, let's see what we got. And I was like, oh, this is the one, dude. I was like, yeah, we got to do this one for sure. And I sent it to Joe, and I think the next day he was like, that actually would be pretty sick. And so we were like, we just ran with it and did it. And yeah.
Have you been like a lifelong Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed the train on that. I don't know how.
Yeah.
It just never, what was it about that? Did you read the books or watch the movies first?
Just movies.
Movies.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it
book.
About the original trilogy? I'm assuming the original trilogy. I watched like the first two Hobbits and I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I never really like enjoyed the Hobbit stuff. It was just like not as, I don't know, I feel like they tried too hard kind of thing to be like Lord of the Rings. But, the staple actor is not there kind of thing. It's just different things.
So, but with the original Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, what was it that latched? Because I could explain to you why I fucking love comic books so much, right?
Yeah.
Or why I love doing podcasting or comedy or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like, why does nobody else not get this? This is so fucking sick.
Yeah.
What was about Lord of the Rings that got you into it?
Dude, straight up good versus evil classic tale. Like it hit just like Star Wars did, like OG stuff, like just the battle of light and dark. Like it was just perfect. And medieval, sick medieval, sucker for anything like that. And it was just dude, so dark. I just it just fit. It was just so much metal in it. Like there were so many parts where I was like, dude, this is brutal. This is scary. What is happening kind of stuff. And yeah, I was just chills through most of it. And then all the good positive parts are like, damn, it's pretty good story about friendship too. I don't know, it had all the things you want in a good classic medieval story kind of thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because what was it? I think it's in the second one, the Battle of Helm's Deep. Is that the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's considered the greatest actions or battle sequence of all time.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Which, fair enough.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked. That's what I like about death metal is that there's a pretty consistent, it seems, love for medieval stuff and then Dark Souls type stuff.
Oh yeah, of course.
So how did you guys come up with the album cover and where did you get it done? Because I'm always fascinated by deathcore album covers.
Yeah.
Because they're just they're either like yours is on the side of grandiose and big and epic and beautiful.
Yeah.
And then there's others where it's just the most vile, brutal, violent shit.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that this is like it's like this genre cornered the market on how graphic your album covers can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I went to a they're from South Africa. Voldovania.
Okay, yeah.
They came through the launch pad.
Yeah.
And I forget they were attached to Angel Maker.
Oh, okay.
And so I was standing in line to get Angel Maker stuff, and like at Launchpad, they just have like the booths right next to each other, you know.
Yeah.
And I was standing next to the Voldovania table, and they had a flag for $20 based off of one of their album covers.
Yeah.
I was like, $20.
That's sick.
Fuck it, why not? Right?
Yeah.
I had no idea what it looked like, but I was like, fuck it, whatever.
Just grab it.
I unrolled it, and it's like this big old fat guy with a vat of acid, and there's like blood, and there's
Sick.
like
Okay.
bodies hanging off of meat hooks and shit.
Yeah.
So like, where did you guys get your album cover done?
Dude, so that is a crazy story. So the first album art that we had planned, I had bought it in 2023. I think, no, it had to be really, really early 2023 or at some point.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
So we buy this piece and it's done, it's settled. We hit this guy up. It was just perfect. And in the midst of waiting, while we had the whole year to wait to record, this band Impending Doom dropped an EP that literally was almost the exact same style of ours at the time. And I sent it to Joe and I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. And he was like, yup, that definitely looks exactly like ours. And so
In what year?
I think it was last year. Yeah.
Last Days. That was the album.
I think so.
That one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, literally, I'll have to show it to you. It was literally the exact same. And so we were like, well, back to the drawing board. We'll find someone kind of thing, right? And we were like getting closer to his wedding. And I was like, oh, we'll figure something out. And I think we tracked the first song together. And I was like, because I had gotten rid of Instagram at the time. And he was the only one who had access to that's how we were like finding all the art. And he was like, this guy does really cool work. And we found a piece that was really cool. And I was like, yo, hit this guy up and we'll get a quote and we'll see what's up. I think he quoted us and then he was like, this is what it is. And then we just took a while to reply. And then he never said anything like to follow up after that. And we were like, I don't think this guy's going to work, man. And so we were like getting close to finishing recording like all together. We were like,
was that on like Fiverr?
So that's where we found the third one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so where's the second guy that's doing Instagram?
So the first two were all just Instagram like explore.
Yeah.
Like because through Centennial's like Instagram itself was just constant artists like buy my art, dude, buy my art, check my stuff out. So we found those first two that way, but the third one I was like, I remember reaching out to the guy that did the t-shirts. He's a really good buddy of mine, and he was like, dude, Fiverr. Promise, like go check it out. And the vocalist to Cruel Act, that John dude as well, he was like, dude, Fiverr, I promise. He was like, I promise you it'll be a great price and it'll be sick. And I started looking and I was like, Joe, I think I found the one. And sure enough, this guy was like super affordable from Hungary. So he would message me at like 2 or 3 in the morning, like, hey man, I just woke up, or like, I'm just getting to this right now. What do you think about this? And yeah, we literally were like very descriptive. I remember sending the first message being like, yo, I just want 2 people, because the album's called 2, like Roman numeral 2. And I was like, I just want 2 people casting a spell in a vast openness, kind of like a New Mexico landscape, and just summoning something weird, like spell-like. And he was like, perfect, I can do it. And yeah, because I remember messaging the guy, and he was like, cool, just tell me what you want. And I remember I called Joe at the time, and he was with David, our bassist, doing some other stuff. And I was like, yo, both of us, all 3, let's talk. Like, what do I tell this guy right now? Like, I want you to just shoot me all the details as, like, descriptive as you can. And he sent it back in, like, 10 days. And he crushed it, dude. I was like, damn, this is sick. Like, this is crazy. And yeah, it was that simple, thankfully, because it was getting really close to crunch time. Like, we were finishing up and we were getting ready to release this. And then David at some point earlier this year was like, yo, I have this band Snuffed on Sight coming in the beginning of April, and it'd be sick if we did the EP release then. It would just kind of just be perfect timing. And we kind of mapped it out in January. Like, I think we can time this all out right. You're going to have to finish recording right now, but... And Joe was like, yeah, I'll get at least one song done for sure, like, through and through. And, yeah, we did it. It's cool when you have a deadline. I think it just pushes you.
Well, it makes it real.
Yeah.
Because it steps away from being a concept.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to, we're going to complete this, or I'm going to sign up for this, or I'm going to go here. It's like, no, okay. I've made appointments now. We've got a deadline, or like we have a real like due date.
Yeah.
We can't fuck up now.
Yeah. We were literally like, this is how we have to do it, and this is, as long as we stay on it, we will be fine. We're going to roll with it, and we'll rock. And yeah, it was kind of just, at one point, it was just up to me, like, because I only like to do like one song at a time. Like, I can't, my voice just gets thrashed after like a whole, so with vocal recording, he makes it to where I do every single part twice, one for the left and one for the right side of the ear. So it's just like a stereo mix, and you have to be on top of each take being perfectly like just like how the other one is.
Well, I was gonna say, like, why do you have to do two mixes, one per ear? Like, I'm just obviously just coming out of ignorance, but I'm seeing this as like, okay, you're recording onto a file.
Sure.
Can you not just copy the file?
So you can copy and paste, but you'll literally hear like the exact same thing, and it just doesn't sound like natural. It sounds like it's just like too loud. But rather than if it's more natural, like an actual person doing two, there's like slight discrepancies where you're like, oh, this sounds like it is flowing together, and it's just kind of cool mix. Because some parts he'd be like, do the exact same, or do a third part here, but do it like lower. And so there's if you listen to it, there's like a lot of overlaps and stuff like that, and layers to each track.
Is that common practice for recording?
Yeah,
doing one per. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a trick, man. I've definitely seen people just do one take and it works. Like, by all means, more power to you, kind of thing. But to do a cool stereo feel is like, oh shit, like you sound like big, like more like there's just more space to breathe and stuff like that when it's split.
Well, and I'd imagine that has to be very important, like letting things have space to breathe and like air, literally just air, like so you could hear you. Because obviously you can't understand like on the first couple tries through with any deathcore like what they're saying. That's just the nature of the music.
Yeah.
But as somebody that's actually having to sit down and master all that mix and make it sound good, you don't want it to sound like clutter.
No, definitely not.
It's very easy and again, this is why I'm so impressed with like your guys' studio recordings and Human Hand studio recordings, because I'd imagine like not even just because of lack of skill, but if you don't have the right equipment and then you don't have the right person behind the equipment,
absolutely,
it's real easy for young up and coming artists to not sound that great when recorded, when it has nothing to do with skill. It's just the access to what you have.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The knowledge.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to knowledge for sure, because there's can be the same person that has the exact same equipment next door, and it's not going to come out the same. I feel like that's a lot, like with a lot of art, man. I felt that way with photography. There was this one dude who bought the same camera, and I was like, damn, bro, that's my camera. But at the end of the day, it's two different people behind the lens, and it's gonna.
You were impressed with like what they were putting out compared to what you were.
Yeah, and then like even on the flip side of it, like, ooh, there's a person, and I'm like, ooh, God, like, it's just a different person behind the trigger. You know what I mean? And
no, for sure.
Not to say like there was any worse, but like it's just different.
You could tell that there is a difference in skill, and there's a difference in experience, and
sure.
time put in, repetitions. I mean, it's with anything else.
Yeah, man.
How are you maintaining your voice?
Just a lot of hydration, baby.
I got it, because again, that's got to be. I always thought about because there's a ton of bands in every genre that no one will ever hear every single one of them, that type of shit. But like, I feel like there are so many bands doing like deathcore, metalcore, doom metal, and everything in between or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are a lot of people doing it because of how many bands stop doing it so quickly because the vocalist burns their burns the vocal cords out too much, or whatever those muscles are.
Yeah.
So what type of vocal? I know we talked about this a little bit last time,
Yeah.
but like for people who haven't listened to you before, like what are you doing to help maintain that type of stuff? Because, dude, I'll be honest, there's been maybe a couple mornings where I'm driving to work and I'm feeling a little courageous about myself,
dude.
or maybe I had a couple of whiskeys and I'm feeling good, and then it's like, and I'm like 15 seconds later, I'm like,
Yeah. So it literally just comes down to hydration, man. Like I literally thought there was a secret recipe of like you got to have a certain sort of sugar in your throat to coat it. Like it literally is just I make sure I don't eat anything like too heavy as far as like stuff without water. So like I'll stick to salads and soups like on show days, or just like this whole week is like soup and salads, just rocking, dude. Just as much water as I can,
it's
like
cleansing.
Constant water bottle fills, dude. Yeah. And just stay hydrated. And I'll do like a little like a sweet soda, but nothing too crazy, like not like actual Coke or anything like that, but like less sugar, just to have it coated in that moment. But all day, every day is just a lot of water.
You know, like tea or honey and shit like that.
Also, the other thing, I can't believe I didn't even mention this yet. Working out. Like, dude, cardio. Like, I'm not like super fit or anything, but like I make sure like I'll rip the whole album sometimes and just jump jacks, dude. Get my heart racing, because it's all lung power. And if your lungs are not like suited for it, it's gonna be a real dude. And I've done it too before. Where I'm like, I should have worked out this whole week, because you can feel like the stress after. In the midst of it, in the actual show, fine, always fine, because it's been doing it for so long. It's just a muscle at that point. But afterwards, like the care, I'm like, ooh, like I sound a little hoarse, kind of thing. But when you're constantly on it, I can talk exactly like this after a show, and that's when you know, like, oh damn, you are pretty hydrated. Like it doesn't even sound any different. Yeah, so that's definitely the aftercare is where that comes into play a lot. Sure.
And that's good you said that about, I was going to ask that about working out. Like, I was imagine keeping your aerobic ability up is crucial. Are you doing like breathing exercises at all to help control your lungs? Like what helps you in that realm?
So like I'll do, like I said, the cardio itself, I'll do the jump jacks like to it, and sometimes I'll like kind of just like kind of not actually scream or anything like that, but I'll make sure I'm like saying the words. That way, so I'm getting sort of like a breath in kind of thing with it. But the breathing exercises I do like before every time I practice, it just kind of like loosens you up and gets you ready, rather than like getting a strenuous like kind of something to crack and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's a trip to learn those things and then do them wrong and be like, damn, I really wish I would have done something different back then. But
well, and because stuff like what you're doing with your voice and again all the muscles surrounding your vocal cords, like you fuck up for too long, you know, you can I'd imagine you can permanently damage yourself.
Yeah, dude. There's people that literally have to do backtrack vocals like on their mix for live because they can't do it anymore, and they just. Thankfully, they're that good that you can't even tell that it is. But you'd be surprised. There's some people out there that are literally like, I still want to tour and I still want to do this, but like I can't sing anymore, so I'm just gonna put a backtrack for vocals. And it's like, at the end of the day, like if you're 50 still touring, like props regardless.
Vince Neil needs a fucking backing track
for sure. I'm surprised he doesn't.
Because Nikki Sixx does.
Yeah, exactly.
On the bass,
yeah.
He has a backing track for his bass.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, come on, bro. Just give it up and just commit to it, man. Commit to the backtrack.
Have you seen those videos of him singing?
Yeah,
and they
course.
put the subtitles of what it sounds like he's saying?
And yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
That poor fuck. Like I think he's got more money than I'll ever have right now.
Sure.
You never know.
Yeah.
Especially with musicians who have a history of, you know, substance abuse and shit like that. You never know how much money they actually have. But I mean, God, at some point, I mean, I'd imagine you get addicted to the lifestyle. You don't know much else.
Of course.
You know, we're removing all the vices. Your routine is traveling and going around and seeing extravagant things and always being on the road and meeting new people. All types of, so I'd imagine that can get very addictive.
Yeah. It's a trip that he like.
On the other hand,
from the videos I saw, he has like a little teleprompter thing on the bottom.
No.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like all the lyrics, and it's like, bro, like this is a serious issue. I think if you're not remembering your stuff, I think that's like for sure a sign of other things that's going on.
I was gonna say that's gotta be some kind of cognitive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because like me, like remembering the stuff is the first and foremost thing. Like I'm like, I don't care how I sound as long as I remember like all my words. I've definitely been up there, been like, I would hate to be up there and be like, this is new, I don't know it yet.
Well, and the obvious argument back at that is like, well, they've put out way more records, way more albums.
For sure.
Okay, well, this is true.
Yeah.
But then I would also say, how much of their set list isn't just the greatest hits?
Exactly. All it's all, and it's like, even if this was like our first album 20 years ago, it's like, bro, you still recorded the first album 20 years. There's still a point in your brain where you said, this is my song and I'm going to like put a part of yourself into it. You know what I mean? It's not ever like, I don't think anybody ever treats a song like, all right, cool, done. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I think you look around at a lot of modern music today where it's like, oh, that was made by Boardroom. Oh, that was made. That's a song by Committee, and we've got our dancing puppet here. That knows how to perform and very marketable. Yeah. Oh, that's everywhere, dude.
Yeah, I guess more so in the like the metal kind of thing, where you know, where there's a little bit more of the pride of like, this is my work kind of thing. Yeah, where it actually takes a little bit more of the kind of I guess dedication to most of the music and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's a trip, man. I would never, ever want to go out there and be like, I don't feel comfortable with my own song.
Has that ever happened to you where you're almost like, it's like, because again, I've only recently started going on stage to do like performing type shit. And they're like, I did, 2 Saturdays ago, I did a Dry Heat Comedy Club for their last weekend. Yeah. And there were times when I was only up there for 8 minutes. Yeah. But there were times when I was up there and I was like doing my set and it was by the grace of God that I hit my timing properly and I did my punchlines properly. Like that whole set was by the grace of God. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it turned out that well, but there were times like when I was going through my stuff and I would like zone out and my mind was like, oh my God, I'm on stage. Okay, I'm on stage. We're in a comedy club. We're here. Oh my, wait, remember your joke. Go back in. You kind of like, do you find that happening to you where you're like waving in and out?
Always. And it's cool when you're like, oh, I'm just doing my thing right now. And I'm doing pretty good. Like, this is crazy. Like, and you're like, so me, when I'm screaming, I'm like doing my thing and I'm like, damn, this is sick. Like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I'll have moments where I look at people and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And I'm like, just ripping it. But it's because you are so embedded into that moment that's the only thing that matters at that point.
And I'd imagine also there's a lot of muscle memory going into it too, right?
Sure. That's all practice, baby, for sure. Yeah. If you practice a lot, you'll get good a lot. But there was times when I was drinking, dude, I was like, I'm just going to say whatever I want. Like, you know what I mean? You just rip it. But that was, me younger kind of thing too. So, but now that stuff is actually like published and actually like out there, I'm like, cool, I got to remember everything.
I have to adhere to my own script.
Yeah, of course. Because it's crazy when people, like now that I'm older, there's kids that come up that are younger that are like, dude, can I do that part? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, sure, grab the mic, do whatever you want to do. So when those moments happen, I'm like, it's crazy that you know my lyrics. Sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm like, this. So I'm like, I feel like it's my civil duty to do that and make sure I'm coming correct with my music too, for sure,
Well, yeah, people get in trouble for it left and right, but I think Miley Cyrus got in a shit ton of trouble, like, it was like 2016-ish, 2017. I remember I was still in college, where she was like caught lip syncing.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it was like one of her biggest tours, like ever type shit. And like, oh, she's lip syncing on tour. She's selling out her. Yeah. Well, how to that? And I was like, yeah. Like, why are we not surprised here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, lip syncing, because on the one hand, it's like you want the authenticity. You're paying as a consumer, right? You're going in, you're paying the money. You want to hear this person. You want to hear the, But then on the other hand, I look at them like, okay, man, this person, regardless of what their age is, whether they're Vince Neil or they're in the ripe age of like 20, 24, 25, 28, whatever.
Sure.
And they're touring around. They've got 50 tour dates. That's at least one city a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize how much touring that actually is.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Insane.
Like what that would do, what that does to your body, what that does to your sleep cycles,
voice.
what that does to your voice, different altitudes, different
Yeah,
humidities,
Oh yeah.
different types of stress. Maybe you're going
Yeah.
to a place that's a little less nice, not as, a little more violent, shit like this.
Yeah.
You're worried about that. You're still a fish out of water, whatever. So it's like, yeah, maybe, and then the impact on their voice. So I was like, okay, and they're not keeping the best diet on the road unless you have a really good dietitian or just someone with you that's keeping you strict.
Disciplined, yeah.
Drinking a lot, doing a little bit of extracurriculars.
Exactly,
and
dude.
then it's like, yeah, maybe a couple of those cities are gonna have some backing tracks. All right,
Yeah.
who
and
gives
like,
a fuck?
And I think it's wise for you to prepare for those moments, you know what I mean? Where you're like, I might not be that good this whole 50 dates, so I should have that, option B just in case kind of thing. Like, I'm going to do it all as much as I can every night, but I'm going to have that there just in case if I wake up one day and I'm like, I don't feel the best.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be stoked if I showed up to a show and someone's like, hey, what's up, guys? I don't feel the best, but I'm still going to give it my all. I'd be like, okay, cool.
Well, I've seen, and people do that, and I've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, and there's never a negative response.
Exactly. Yeah. No one's ever like, boo. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying
Stay
hard.
up there, you dancing monkey!
Yeah. Don't stop. And, too, like, I've seen it, too, where, you see bands, I'm sure, like, with, back to the Vince McNeil thing with Molly Crew, like, you go and you're singing all the songs anyways, and you're like, dude, these are like songs I grew up with, like for the older people and stuff like that, and they're like, I don't care how he sounds, I'm singing them, like I'm enjoying my time as long as it all sounds good musically.
I will say this, you know who blew me away? Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh yeah, of course,
Dude, I saw Ozzy in 2018.
Yeah.
It was him and Stone Sour.
Yeah.
And Zach Wilde was touring with Ozzy. So I was like, fuck. And he sounded amazing. Was he running around and jumping? And no. He stayed in one spot the whole concert. But he fucking killed it.
And I think it's that same thing like we were saying. I think when you're really in that moment, that muscle memory just takes over and you can do that 45-hour set because you're just like, this is what I know. I've played these songs for 50 years. I can't really move my body, but my voice knows the muscles that it took all these years.
Has Ozzy really been at? Oh my
Probably,
god!
yeah.
It's been because like let's say not even because he did Paranoid and he did Iron Man, right?
Yeah,
but like let's
the
say
first album I think was like 70 something, dude, for sure.
yeah, the first Black Sabbath album was like 72. But let's say 1983. Let's say that for his solo stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but okay, well, 35 years since 2018. But yeah, it's about 45, inching up on 50
Yeah,
years
dude.
of Ozzy Osbourne.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got time. I'm good, dude. I'm not gonna stress anything as far as music goes. I'm like, this is just another little weird chapter.
That is something that you brought up in the last one I wanted to ask you about. Last time you kind of mentioned how, the band doesn't really have that much of... We're not that interested in going out past New Mexico, going out and doing some local tours, like doing some hey, we got a gig out in Austin, we got a gig in Phoenix, in Denver, Colorado Springs. Has that changed at all?
Not really, man. I mean, so like I said, the other guys are in other bands that are a little bit more forward with that kind of stuff, and I'm like, more power to you, kind of thing. It's a lot. It's a lot on finances. It's a lot on your physical body. It's a lot on just. It's great exposure. It's seeing as much of the world or the United States as you can. Rock, dude, for sure. Do it up. But me personally, I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Cool. But at the same time, I'm like, there's no desire of I need to tour New York. You know what I mean? I'm just like, cool. I don't know. Maybe it's just my age kind of thing, but
Well, and I don't ask as a disparaging thing, but I ask because of where your guys' skill is at.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are that good. Whenever I see, bands of this genre come through town and local bands and stuff get attached to them, I'm like, man, Centennial could really fucking get on that bill and do it.
Yeah.
Possibly do it better than some of these other people.
Yeah, that ain't
fucking good.
That Angel Maker show.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember the guys, we were all talking, we were like, we should try and get on this one for sure. And we're like, well, if it happens, cool. But it just didn't end up working out kind of thing. But
did you guys ask or no?
I think my bassist did ask and kind of just no response type thing. There's
Yeah.
sometimes where these local shows, or I'm sorry, these touring bands will come and they'll straight up be like, no local
Yep.
bands.
Dude, I didn't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, other than like a surface value, I can estimate what's going on type shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know how in the weeds it got until I sat down with Barney Lopez.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, fuck.
Barney is probably the guy to ask as
Yeah.
far as Launchpad is concerned for that stuff.
And we were even talking about stuff like over at Sunshine and with
Mm-hmm.
El Rey, but obviously since he books specifically over at Launchpad, he's going into all that shit. I'm like, why is it so
I'm sure he
fucking...
gets bombarded by people like,
well, then
please,
it's...
please, dude.
Well, I see like from the record label or from the signing agencies or whoever's like helping decide these things. Oh, well, helping's a stretch. Whoever is deciding these things.
Yeah.
I get it. Where it's like, well, if we're gonna put a feature or a opening act on our tour, we're gonna do it from our roster of people. Obviously,
Yeah.
keep it in house. But then on the other hand, I wonder, and maybe they do advocate for it, maybe they don't. But I would wonder if like any bands would be, or if any members of like the headlining band or the feature, like, hey, why not just? I'm sure if we did an hour's worth of homework and we're going to Albuquerque, New Mexico, we can find some local bands there, and if let's say you guys get a fucking email from some agency say, hey, Angel Maker found your stuff. They might want you guys to open.
Yeah.
Send us your files. Send
Sure.
us some footage. You don't think that you guys would hop onto
Yeah,
your
of
fucking
course, of
computer for
course.
30 minutes and email a Google Drive link?
Yeah, of course,
And it's
of
like,
course.
here's our shit. Please pick me. I love you. Like, come on.
Of course, of course.
You know, I don't understand why that's not more of a thing. 'Cause that's like, and again, maybe I am very biased because I'm learning outside of just listening to famous comedians' podcasts, but
Sure,
I'm
yeah.
learning from firsthand experience or from secondhand experiences. That's how comedy works.
Yeah, for sure.
People go to the town and like, hey, who's your best of the locals?
Yeah.
All right, get them up here. And as I think about it, it's like, you know, it's impossible for like Centennial. Let's say you guys packed up in your van and you knew your buddies were playing at a show in Denver. And you're like, hey, can we drop in and do a 15-minute? That's not a thing.
Right.
Because of just the logistics of it.
Sure,
The
yeah.
logistics alone.
Yeah.
No matter what venue it is. But for the touring acts to take the initiative and be like, hey, what you got?
Yeah, for sure. Of
I
course.
don't know. It's not that
And you know, it's tough because there's, you know, smaller booking agencies that are like, they'll hit up people like from each town and they'll be like, you know, there is an opening spot. I'll let you guys pick that and we'll just, here's the flyer, send us, you can release at this date. That's why my bassist, David, is like running that Third Vision stuff. And because I think at some point we were like, we just need to book our own stuff. That way so we can play those shows you want and can bring the music that you want to see and stuff like that. Because after a while, it's like there's only a certain amount of people that are like bringing heavy metal stuff kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
So doing it yourself, I think at some point was like kind of like the only option or like the better option kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's done well. Like it's allowed us to do a lot of cool stuff. You know?
No, and I'm a big fan of no matter what your medium is.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of entertainers putting on their own shows. Because, I mean,
Of course.
you're never taking anything away from the scene by putting on your own show. If you're just adding more opportunity for local entertainers to do what they love to do, and you're adding more opportunity for, you know, audiences to come, or whether they're people that are just loyal fans or family and friends,
Right.
or if they're people that are just interested in finding this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
provided the whole show is good.
Yeah.
Emphasis on it's good local.
Yeah.
Emphasis on that it's good local.
Yeah.
All you're doing is exposing more people to cool shit's going on.
Of course.
You know, one thing I want to ask you before we get out of here. You mentioned a little earlier that you were off of social media for a little bit.
Yeah.
What made you? Are you still off?
So I'm on Facebook, but
Yeah.
as far as Instagram goes, I
Yeah.
deleted it in September.
What made you want to get off?
It's just a lot of
I know it's a loaded question because there's a thousand different reasons to get off of social media.
It was a little bit more of the personal things, but
Okay.
generally speaking, it's all a rat race that I was just not a part of anymore. Like I really gave up, like trying to take photos because you know I predominantly used it for photography and music, but for the photography's sake, it was like I remember like all from 2016 or 17 that I had it. I was like, take a photo, post it, sell it. Next day, take a photo, post it, sell it. And it worked. It was a good rhythm for a while, but you know, after a while that gets exhausting. And so at some point it just no longer served its purpose in that end.
Did it get exhausting because you were no longer not satisfied, but like you were no longer excited about the end goal that you were getting? It's like, hey, maybe I should be getting more than what I'm getting right now, or like,
no.
What's the next like big thing? Is it that type of thing?
No,
or?
It was just more of like I was just not really vibing with wanting to keep pushing myself to take another photo of the Sandias. Like I was like, I've done this 100 times. Like I don't think I can do anything. So I told myself if I take a step back and then do it just sparingly, or when I want to, I'll create different art. And that's how I kind of started approaching all of last year as far as art itself, kind of just like letting it flow. If it comes, it comes, and got to let it flow to grow, kind of thing. And
right,
without forcing it, because when you force it, it's just like, ugh. At least for me, being like, well, it's just a different cloud over the Sandias tonight. It looks kind of cool. But, it's funny, though, because, like, the flip coin is, like, people will be like, oh, dude, I miss your stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, are you off, like, Instagram? Like, dude, I've noticed I haven't seen any cool photos of the Sandias. And you're like, damn, bro. Well, what can you do? Yeah, but it was just, I don't know, man. I definitely feel like I thought I was going to be left out of a lot of stuff. But, we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And I'm like, damn, I'm still in the know.
I mean, if it wasn't for the podcast, I'd probably be off. Well, I like being on Instagram, but some like memes with my friends and shit.
Yeah,
like that's fun. But on the other hand, I just waste so much fucking time on my phone.
For sure, man. Yeah.
Like even last night, I was fully laundry and listening to a podcast, and just like a fucking robot, I went and grabbed my phone, sat down, started to scroll, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing? I was just doing laundry."
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And it's like that type of just like, okay, well, what am I really missing out on? Like if it wasn't for the podcast. Because I got off of social media for a little bit, right after the George Floyd incident happened. I got off, and I was like, "All right, the riots are going down. COVID's a thing.
Yeah.
Like, this is
what am I doing?
Yeah, this is getting too fucking much. I'm getting off." So I didn't delete my profiles or anything, but I deactivated them temporarily, deleted the app, and I was just like, "Okay, I know COVID's going on outside, but like, that type of." But then I started the podcast again.
Yeah,
and then we're back.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and too, like it's just all like a balance of like being able to like know like I'm doing laundry right now. I'm not going to go scroll. You know what I mean? Like it's tough, but it's very, very addicting in those senses, dude. It's almost second nature.
It's a vacuum.
I'm very, very grateful that we did not grow up with like a tablet in our hands.
Dude, I barely, because how old are you again?
31.
You're 31? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah. See, I'm 26, turning 27 this year.
Yeah.
And
we barely missed it,
if
dude.
people our age, like we barely squeaked out of like, again, getting raised by a tablet. Like, because yes, obviously we had TV and shit like that, and like the very beginning of like the console age. Okay, that's one thing. And even then, I'm sure your parents were also like, you shouldn't be sitting too close to the TV, or why are you spending so much time doing this, that, and the other?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then, but now, I mean, like there are parents that are complete though 180 flip, where they know that if they stick a tablet in front of their kid's face, regardless of the age, but if they stick a tablet in their kid's face, they shut up until the tablet dies.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no shit. That's like going back in time and then showing someone in the 1600s a little wind-up TV. What the fuck? You're giving a piece of alien technology to a 3-year-old.
Yeah. So much.
And then you're shocked. They're like, oh, what's going on?
Literally happened today in my backseat. As I was driving people, this passenger brought their little baby in a little car seat, and the baby was starting to like whine, and so mom was like, pulled her phone out, handed it to the baby, stopped. Got a phone call, answered it. Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. The baby starts whining a little bit. And then blah, 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 blah. Hangs up, gives it back. And baby stays quiet. Dude, I was like, damn, dude, that's what made me think about it too. I was like, damn.
That kid is fucked. I'm sorry, not to like.
By all means, I hope not.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But if that keeps up, that kid nothing will make that kid happy.
Yeah.
Like on a biological level.
Sure.
Nothing will make that kid happy enough to maintain its attention.
Yep.
What the fuck?
So it comes down to like the stimulation. Like it's such a high amount of stimulation and dopamine that you're getting from it that everything else in life is like not as cool. And then that's where you hit these spikes in dopamine where you're like, well, man, my kid's depressed. But that's, you know, and that all comes full circle to that's why I had to like essentially like, get myself out of it.
Well, I'm going to leave some details out of this because I'm sure that some of these people now and again will listen to my podcast whether they like me or not. But, But I'm trying to leave details out of this. There's a young set of cousins that I know.
Yeah.
And these cousins are, I think they're twins.
Yeah.
I want to say they're both 8.
Okay.
8 or 9. 2 little boys.
Yeah.
Dude. Family used to like going camping. This family used to like going camping a lot and shit. Mm-hmm. Kids are addicted to these fucking phones. They've got Nintendo Switch. They've got the VR shit. All that stuff. And I get told the story. I guess they had gone out to camping, and obviously there's somewhere where there's no cell service, so they're not using cell phones, anything like that.
Yeah.
And the kids started with like complaining. Then it went to like heightened complaining. Then it went to whining and crying, and then it elevated into like them claiming they felt sick to their stomach.
Damn.
And it's like fuck. Oh, and they're like, okay. I'm like, well, we're not going home till tomorrow, so
yeah.
They give them their phones just to play like the preloaded games or like watch preloaded whatever it's like pre-downloaded.
Yeah.
No complaints, no nothing.
No stomach ache.
Yeah. Well, then I hear that story and I think, okay, let's assume that they actually had stomach aches just to make matters worse.
Sure, yeah.
You're telling me that the dopamine deprivation that they are experiencing from no technology is causing a negative reaction like you're feeling
a biological reaction.
Like a biological, like I'm feeling sick. Like those are withdrawals.
Yeah.
People withdraw from fucking booze, heroin, coke, nicotine. Mm-hmm. So I throw in my second pillow of the episode. Mm-hmm. They're withdrawing from a fucking iPhone. Mm-hmm. We're done. We're done.
Yeah.
Maybe we deserve the meteor. Who knows?
Yeah. And it's by all means, dude, it's a trip. That's why I was like, I should probably get out of this while I can. And, I was scared, but at the end of the day, it's like...
Nah, fuck it, dude. Whatever's better for you.
Yeah, dude. It's a term that I heard on a YouTube video, actually. It's called dopamining. And it's when you start just keep looking for it kind of thing. And I really try and just keep at peace with it all. Like with this show, I was telling my lady about it earlier, and I was like, I really want to just stay with each day. Like I'm stoked about it on Friday. Like today, I'm stoked about it. We're gonna rock. But at the same time, like I'm just gonna be in it, because if I get too excited about it, I'll hit that crazy crash after the show or something, or the next day kind of thing. So just kind of just enjoy it all. And I think that's what like the album itself is like about. It's just staying present, staying in the moment as it is, like just being here to enjoy it all. Because otherwise, the future is not here. The past already happened, dude. It's just right here.
Well, that's a good thing to end this on, man.
You betcha, brother.
The EP's fucking dope. It's out everywhere. Please go check it out because that shit is awesome. So tonight, this comes out at 7 a.m. So tonight at 7 p.m., so a little less than 12 hours from now at Rensden. What's the address again?
Somewhere 4th Street.
Where is it next to?
Secret Gallery, downtown.
Okay.
Yeah. So in like the Borellis area.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's like across the street from it. But really quick, I want to give you kudos for starting to do comedy, bro.
Yeah.
For real. Like seriously, like I'm not trying to just like blow.
Thank you.
But like it's huge, man. Like this is the beauty of like podcasting, is finding these people that you can like be inspired by to push yourself to go and do artistic stuff. Like that's stuff that a lot of people like yearn for. Like, I wish I was good at something. Like, it just takes doing stuff like this to network and talk to other people. And dude, making art is what life's about, dude.
I agree, and thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment.
For sure,
thank you very much.
Keep on doing it. I can't wait to. I'm gonna come check some stuff out for sure.
Fuck yeah, I'll let you know whenever I get booked again.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Thank you, dude, for coming through and doing this last minute. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.